Hey everybody, happy Monday!
Happy Monday everyone. In this video we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite thing to do, and that is fish tank maintenance. We are going to be talking about ways to reduce the amount of time you spend maintaining your fish tanks, but I think before we get into the steps, the things that can help you reduce the time in fish tank maintenance, you should know that we consider fish tank maintenance to be water quality, so your water changes, keeping control of your algae, and filter maintenance. So let's talk about ways to make that take less time.
All right, the first way to save time doing tank maintenance is to spend more time at your tank. What? Well, if you spend more time at your tank or tanks, you can see what's going right, what's going wrong. Do you have a filter maybe that's not working? That could save you a huge amount of time cleaning out your tank at the end of the week. Or are your plants not looking well? Are they, maybe your lighting isn't doing so well? You can save a lot of time at the end of the week or even further out by spending more time at your tank on a daily basis to see what's going right and what's going wrong.
Okay, tip number 2. You see this tank right here? There are a lot of fish in this aquarium. Because of that, this one takes quite a bit of time to maintain. The water changes are definitely a little bit higher. The amount of time we spend gravel vacuuming is a lot more. So the second tip is if you want to spend less time maintaining your tank, don't overstock your tanks. Keep less fish in a tank. Let me show you what I mean. So this is a better example. This is our platy tank. This tank has less fish. Therefore, less waste, less maintenance, fewer water changes. So when you're looking at how long it's taking you to maintain your tanks, consider your stocking levels.
Tip number 3 is my favorite because it has to do with plants. Tip number 3 is to keep more plants in your aquarium and you will actually have less maintenance. This one's a great example. It's very heavily planted. Another great example are our tanks in the studio. They are very heavily planted, and why do we save on maintenance? Water changes. We have to do actually less water changes. You can either do less volume, less frequently, because the plants are helping to use up all those nutrients.
Now, Joanna just gave you that great tip about using plants to lower aquarium fish tank maintenance time, but it's going to do one more thing, and that is it's going to reduce the amount of algae. And we just did a video on that not that long ago. I'm going to put it in the upper right hand corner as well as in the description below about how to use plants and the best plants to use to reduce algae. Another great tip, and that is if you've got an aquarium that has gravel especially, and it's not planted, gravel vac. And the reason you want to do this is you're going to suck all that waste and uneaten food out of the substrate, and that's going to help keep nitrates low, which is going to help reduce the amount of time, the amount of volume, and the frequency that you're going to have to do water changes. And so gravel vacuuming can be a really important aspect of fish tank maintenance. And if you do that right, long term, it's going to take you less time to maintain your tanks. Did a video on how to gravel vac. I will put that in the description below as well.
Now I'm standing at our bristle-nosed pleco breeding tank, and this is a great example of an inhabitant that you can keep that will reduce algae. So bristle-nosed plecos are great. So some shrimp, like a mono shrimp, are really great, and some snails, like mystery snails or nereid snails. And odos are also a great choice. There are even some fish, like Florida flagfish, that will take care of your green hair algae. And how will this reduce your maintenance? Because you're not going to be scraping your tank and removing all the algae, because your little friends in there will take care of that for you. And if you want more information on that, we will include the video up there and down there of great fish and inhabitants that you can choose from.
Now, I know this next tip doesn't seem like it's going to help you reduce fish tank maintenance, but it will long term. And that is properly maintaining your filters every single week. When you're doing your fish tank maintenance, take a look at your filter floss. Take a look at your sponge filters. Make sure that they are properly cleaned, because that will help keep the water clear. It will help suck stuff out of the fish tank. And it's a lot easier sometimes to exchange filter floss than it is going through and gravel vacuuming and dealing with water quality issues.
Now our last tip has to do with lights and plants. Say you have a tank that has no real plants. It can happen. We even do. If you're getting algae, you may want to reduce the amount of light, the intensity, or the duration of light that you have in that tank, because you no longer have those plants to actually use up those extra nutrients in the tank.
Now, in our fish room, we run our lights for about 9 hours a day, 2.5 hours in the morning, 6.5 hours at night. But If you've got a tank with no live plants and you're keeping up with your water changes and you're getting too much algae and it's causing you to spend more time maintaining your tank than you would like, you can reduce the amount of light. Maybe you just do that for 3 or 4 hours in the morning and 3 or 4 hours at night when you're going to be around to actually enjoy the fish, and keep the lights off the rest of the time. That brings up another important point. If you really want to reduce the amount of time you're spending inside your tank scraping algae, doing water changes, be careful of where you put your fish tank. Do not put your tank right next to a window, because that sunlight, it's going to wreak havoc on your aquarium and you're probably going to get a lot of algae. So if you can avoid keeping a fish tank by a window with direct sunlight, that's going to save you a lot of time as well. So these were just some tips on how to reduce the amount of time you spend maintaining your fish tanks. Would love to hear from you in the comments section. How do you spend less time maintaining your tanks besides just abandoning them and not maintaining them? Check out those videos in the description below if you want more information on the things we mentioned today. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.